wake of Nelson Mandela's death, thousands of world leaders gathered in South Africa to pay their respects. But the media coverage of the memorial wasn't exactly focused on Mandela.
But first, President Obama has taken some heat from right-wingers like me for doing things with world leaders that we find, well, let's just say questionable. The famous bows to the Saudis, the handshake with dictator Hugo Chavez, and now, this morning, at the Nelson Mandela Memorial Service, our commander-in-chief decided to shake hands with communist Cuban dictator Raul Castro. Dignified, honorable, respectful, all qualities you want to see in your president, not the qualities you'd say the president displayed when he chose to snap this selfie at Nelson Mandela's memorial service today.
The photographer, his name is Roberto Schmidt. He took the photo of the selfie. He's a photographer for the AFP. He said Obama and his British and Danish counterparts were just acting like human beings, and that, quote, "It makes me a little sad we are so obsessed with day-to-day trivialities instead of things of true importance."
You know, I couldn't agree more with that AFP photographer. But unfortunately, CNN didn't heed those words of wisdom longer than the time it took to read them, because they went on to continue their 24/7 coverage of Selfiegate. And by the way, Obama shaking hands with Cuba's Raul Castro shouldn't be controversial. Castro was just the next guy in line for handshakes, so shut up, Eric Bolling. No, what happened here is that the corporate media simply turned Mandela's funeral into a red carpet event, gossiping about Obama and manufacturing offense about an honest diplomatic gesture. And while the media was superficially covering this memorial, this country has reached a very dark milestone. No, not debt, deportations. Yes, apparently liberal Obama is trying to set some kind of record on how many people a single president can deport. Seriously, the Obama administration has almost reached 2 million deportations faster than every other president in the country's history. And while last year Obama used an executive order to stop deportations of immigrants who came to the U.S. before 17, he doesn't seem willing to do the same for the vast majority of the almost 12 million undocumented individuals living in the U.S. So what's happening to the millions of people 17 and older? Well, some of them are going through a process called medical repatriation, which is being adopted by many hospitals across the nation. Get this. This policy allows hospitals to deport unconscious patients if they turn out to be undocumented. These inhumane policies speak much louder than any grandstanding on behalf of the administration. And aside from the fact that these people have hardly any rights, they're almost the fastest growing demographic in America's prison system. This might have something to do with the current policy that places a quota on capturing so-called illegals. According to the Washington Post, this policy requires that immigration agents detain an average of 34,000 people per day. Yes, ICE agents are forcing 34,000 people into harassment and detention every day by a country that was so-called founded by immigrants. And while this egregious system is working just fine for the private prison industry, U.S. taxpayers are the ones footing the bill. But we don't have to be. Today, upwards of 60% of Americans supporting reforming an immigration system that's so flawed that it's breaking up families, clogging up our courts, and costing us tens of billions of dollars every year. So while mainstream media wastes their time demonizing Obama for shaking hands with someone they consider the other, maybe we should change the conversation, what we Americans consider the other, and start treating each other like human beings.